I want to bring in the Democratic Senator Bill Nelson from Florida, who's joining us now. Nice to see you, sir. Forgive me, I'm struggling being able to speak this morning. You heard what Will Cain said, who said, listen, this is 100% a political issue at the end of the day. And on both sides of the aisle, people are trying to make hay out of this political issue. You had a meeting with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission Chairman Gary Gensler. What did he have to say?
Well, let me comment on Will's comment. Of course, everything in an election year can be labeled political. But 3 years ago, it wasn't political when oil went from 60 bucks a barrel all the way up to 147. And there's widespread agreement that speculators running the price of bidding on futures contracts for oil, most of whom do not use the oil like an airline, and therefore they have reason to buy it to hedge. When you have that excessive bidding and you're flipping that like flipping up the prices of condos in the real estate bubble, that is a part of the price. It's been reported by a Wall Street firm in the Wall Street Journal. 63 cents of every gallon that we pump in our gas tank is due to speculation. So you can say because it's being brought up, it's political because we're in an election year, but I've been bringing this up as well as a number of our colleagues for the last several years.
Senator, this is Naftali Ben-David with Wall Street Journal. So, you know, obviously you're allowed to invest in oil. So how do you make a distinction between investment that's, you know, legitimate and legal and speculation or manipulation of the market that's improper?
You don't allow any one speculator to have a huge share of the market, called position limits. So you put a regulation that any one speculator cannot hold a particular percentage of the total market. Now, what the administration proposed yesterday was for Congress to enact margin limits, and that is the amount that you pay down. Approximately it's 6% now that you pay on an oil contract that's going to provide oil in the future. Between the two, you would have a lessening effect on the ones that want to get into these futures contracts and just keep running the price up.
Let me just lay out for people the gas prices this morning, on average, $3.90 per gallon. And what the president has sent to Congress yesterday in this plan to rein in the market speculators, as the senator's talking about, would be higher penalties, more enforcement, and more data collection. At the end of the day, sir, doesn't this also sort of grow government? That sounds like a plan that brings a lot of people around it who'd have to then enforce it and watch the penalties, et cetera, et cetera. Isn't that a downside of what the president's proposing? And isn't it sort of the opposite of what he has claimed all along, that really, ultimately, it's what's happening in Iran that is really correlated to these higher prices?
Well, you've asked a couple of questions there. Certainly, is Iran threatening to mine the Strait of Hormuz? Is that a fear factor that causes prices to rise? I think it does. The world market, Iran now being boycotted, less oil out on the world market, that's true also. At the same time, you've got less domestic consumption and more domestic production. So that affects the world oil price. So why are we seeing suddenly the run-up? There are other factors at play, and this was the case several years ago as well. Now, with regard to your question about regulation, remember this regulation of energy's futures contracts was eliminated in the dead of night in December of 2000. And you saw the Enron scandal that came from that, and you've seen markets that have excessive speculation. I'm saying let's do some common sense. Let's do some bipartisanship on which we can agree. I think the administration is moving there, and you ask about my meeting yesterday with the chairman. I don't think he's moving fast enough. I think he has the emergency powers under the Wall Street reform bill, and I think they need to move faster. They're moving in that direction, but not fast enough for me.
Democratic Senator Bill Nelson of Florida joining us this morning. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Got to get to Chris. You bet.